Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for watching that break. We are getting into the first semifinal, ByuN versus Bunny. So it's a TvT on the top side, and it is going to be a best of 5.
Oh, I was made host. What?
Way to go, dude. You earned it. You did good or something. I don't know.
I don't... Inconsistencies.
Too much responsibility.
I've been so used to, honestly, like Crank and Alicia hosting all the maps lately, and definitely the semifinals.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, by the way, to Liquidity C. Contributed 32 months. What am I saying here? Liquidity C resubbed
32 months of his time.
They did, technically. Thank you very much for watching us for 32 months. Cheers. And then Walgren says, how does the raffle on the Match Arena page work? Okay, so the Match Arena guys have their own bot. It's kind of like the Partoof bot, except it'll be Match Arena points. That bot isn't really collecting anything right now. What that will do is collect things once we actually turn it on, and we'll obviously announce once it's on. From that point forward, you'll earn points, and you can cash in those points on the Match Arena page for the raffle tickets. It's something we're waiting a little bit longer to do, because if we turned it on now, by the end of the year, everyone would just have maxed out points, and then it'd be like a super saturation of lottery tickets, and it wouldn't actually be that great. So as we get closer to the end of the year, and as we start actually planning out the live event in full detail, that's when we'll start turning that bot on. Hopefully that answers the question well enough. Unless you're referring to something else, in which case, then my bad. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are in game number 1 in the semifinals for the Olimoleague monthly finals. Spawning here in the bottom right in this best of 5. Kicking it off, it's going to be Dust's player, the Red Terran Bunny. Yes, that was an awkward pause. Get over it.
Okay. In the top left is the Blue Terran. He is expert in ByuN. He's got a team. We know what it is.
I felt so bad when they were at BlizzCon, and I think it was Tasteless was getting some Reddit crap or something because they were introducing him as teamless, and it's like, you know what? That's really on Team Expert though. Like they don't. Again, like, I'm not trying to tell them what to do, and I'm not like sitting here like high on my horse or anything, but with no branding associated to these players, it's kind of, I don't know, I want to say understandable that these guys, anyone could confuse them for not being on a team.
Yeah, I mean the pickup initially was really hype, but it really just like, it was literally just the pickup.
What just happened there?
What?
The first half of that sentence was insanely quiet, like your mic was broken again. And then the second half was a bit louder than normal.
I don't know, man. I'm not even like, the only thing I'm touching is the bar on my desk, which isn't touching the computer. Maybe it's touching the cable a little bit.
My thought is maybe you just need to get a new XLR cable.
Yeah, maybe it's time. I mean, I have had this one for 3.5 years, and you know, maybe Apollo's chewed on it once or twice. You know, the usual things.
Well, anyways, Bunny's had quite the up-and-coming performance. He's definitely caught the eyes of many over the last few weeks, and of course, we've got to see him, I think, a little bit more than most, too, in a lot of our events, and consistently playing the Olimoleague, he regularly runs into TvTs. Him beating Gumiho to get here from the round of 8, not too insane, but it was impressive that it was a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's insane in a way, just because the matchup usually varies with, you know, early attacks, especially with someone like Gumiho. So, like, you're like expecting the 1 from most pro Terrans, the 1 on the board, 2-1, and then also the Gumiho has just been really good at TvT, beating basically these Terrans we see in the Olimoleague can all beat each other in any day. Gumiho, Alive, Innovation, ByuN, and apparently now Bunny. So I guess Bunny's added into the esteemed Olimoleague Terran group, and maybe like he probably deserves it. His TVC looked a little like flat because he had a great showing and then a really poor showing with it, but he has been consistently very like good on the stream. I was gonna say good looking, but I actually don't even know what he looks like. I've already forgotten.
I wish we cast a bunch of girls sometime so I could ogle over somebody once in a while.
I'll go over assess with everyone else. He's got one of them bicep icons now. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the icons they gave the players in SSL. It's like one of those cool little additions that doesn't really mean anything, but gives some uniqueness to the tournament. Anyway, Drop will deny this command center, and yeah, can't do much more against 2 Reapers of Hell in a cycle. That's just a lot of damage, so he just picks up and leaves.
Of course, the skin on that Widowmine, that would have been really annoying to deal with otherwise, even though there was a Raven on the way. Cloak did finish, by the way, so the Banshee out of ByuN on the other side of the map should be able to get something done here. He's actually really good at handling his Banshees, combined with the fact that Bunny, he does have a scan, but not really a lot of units to deal with this. In fact, this is just going to go for the cancel. Oh, it is
going to be canceled. That's pretty brutal. I mean, ByuN right now has to be thinking, okay, where is your army? You should have something out right now to help deal with that, and that's probably why he's pulled back a little bit. Oh, okay, he's pulling forward now. The auto turret should be enough as long as it's in a good position.
The Vikings on the ground, though, that's actually going to add a lot of extra damage.
The auto turret's no longer in play here. It is a little questionable, and of course the micro with the medevac could help, but I think ByuN might just have too much production behind this anyway. Yeah, another cyclone, another 2 Marines.
That second cyclone is actually a huge deal, not to mention the SCV's here to repair the other one. I guess the Banshee on the other side of the map got cleaned up, but it did its job. It killed that command center. Or, well, really forced to cancel.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge, you know. So Bunny tries to kind of accommodate by getting a faster 3rd CC. This is probably on his mind anyways, just for being unable to do much damage with his 1 base and then taking damage as well. But this will put him in this state of just, you know, constant defense. He'll have a medevac maybe floating around, and that's kind of all he can do. It's not like a Raven or a Banshee. But otherwise, it's going to be kind of waiting, as ByuN will have the upper hand here for a little bit. Run, Cyclone. SV trying to repair, maybe? Nope, that was just rallied.
Banshee would be really helpful, though.
Yeah. Any amount of damage that Bunny can get, any amount of just keeping ByuN distracted, too, is going to be good. As there might be some suspicion, this is kind of like a... I'd say like it is still probably a common maneuver, even though it's not all the time, to get a 3rd CC much faster if your opener didn't do enough damage. Like, I think ByuN could guess that, but he's also not scouting it. So, you know, maybe he misreads here. Stim starts around the same time, which is pretty important. You know, Bunny, a little down in the economy, down 9 workers. Maybe don't have as quick as, you know, production, but at least he'll have the time investment into upgrades already over with. And does take out this Banshee.
Took 2 scans to do it, though, so not too bad.
Yeah.
These cyclones are getting maintenanced upon, but while this happens, the Raven comes in with 2 auto turrets. Might be able to get that weak one on the back. Yeah,
that's exactly what it gets. And the other one, man.
Oh, man, the medevac! Okay, so that couldn't have gone worse for Bunny. My God, that was so much better than killing SCVs. And it still killed SCVs.
Expensive. You could definitely argue that Cyclones lose their power in the mid game, but like the medevac going down as well. This was brutal. The Raven just leaves. Raven, good unit.
Well, this was kind of cool because you look at ByuN and you look at Innovation. These guys are pretty good at using Ravens, and in a lot of cases will even go 2 Ravens. So for Bunny, I mean, moves like that, yeah, it's kind of unexpected. And he reacted, I think, best as he could, but it was still like the element of surprise got him.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like as the auto turrets came down, he was like, oh shit. Anyways, the Cyclones on the front line here for ByuN look kind of scary, just being, in groups of 3. But as soon as Stim finishes, they won't really be too much to handle. Stim and a couple more Marines. ByuN did go for double upgrades, so he doesn't have a 3rd command center. He will have combat shields as well as Stim, and can apply a lot of pressure. Like, he can start dropping and containing.
I'm looking at that army supply right now, though, and I mean, it's one thing to have combat shields, which is going to be huge. The +1, massive, but the number of supply, like, he's just going to have so much more to work with. 28 Marines to 14, like, literally double the Marine count.
And it's really bad, too, because, okay, so he just scans, and he sees that there's no 3rd CC in the main. There is one on location. He also sees there's no 5 barracks. I think he's going to guess the 3rd CC coming down. But what he really needs to do is have all of his army in the correct position, and that's where things get tricky in these situations. Like, down 20 army supply, if all of your tanks are in the right spot and your Marines protect them, not such a big deal. But if you think they're going to drop you in the main, so you send your Marines over there, to get like a lucky shot, and they're not. This is just something that ByuN is gonna break. This is so easy. Oh, Bunny, I don't know what he was thinking doing the marine pool.
We talked about the Cyclones losing their power later on. Not here. Those just came in and melted the tank on the front line.
This was so, like, I mean, the Marines on the front line wouldn't have been much better. But, like, and the units in the main base and the Vikings maybe getting a couple pot shots in beforehand. I mean, a hold technically was possible, but ByuN had a pretty good army supply.
Well, not to mention, it's ByuN too, so this is not a guy you're expecting to make a lot of silly mistakes coming to a fight like that.
Yeah. I'm so that Raven though. Raven's auto turrets. I'm glad that the era of like the double Raven opener into like the stupid tank push that ruined your day is kind of over, but even a single Raven is pretty good.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of this too, I mean, the command center dynamic of the early game, I guess didn't really shine through because it wasn't a long macro game, but it was still obvious how much just the one command center difference made. Like ByuN just getting to actually finish his and mine off of it, like that supply count was ridiculous.
Yeah, you get the big eco boost that really showed in the army supply.
Yeah, not to mention mules and of course Scanza and everything else your heart desires.
It's like Bunny's gonna be asking for Proxima.
Oh, it's in my eye. Oh, god damn it. Please no eyelash on my eye. Yo, so I bought some Listerine. I've basically just been like, every time I can muster up the courage to just swig a bunch and swish it around your mouth, right? And Listerine's already pretty powerful and hard to deal with in the first place.
Yeah.
But like with a canker sore, it is like punishment.
Why do you do it then?
Well, because I read online it should help cure it faster. But like, for example, talking, I feel like I've got a toothache just because this whole portion of my jaw now. Like it's on the lower part of my tongue, it's on part of my cheek. It hurts so bad.
Interesting, I've never heard that. Brutal.
I mean, part of it too is like this whole thing where I need my wisdom teeth out and oh guys, drama for that, right? But it's just this terrible combination, this shotgun of things that I just hope goes away before Corsair.
Yeah, it's open. I feel like a week, almost a week, should just about do it.
I hope. I've been intentionally sleeping a bunch too to help, hopefully, speed along the healing process, I guess. At any rate, my woes aside, just explaining why I'm probably going to be slacking off a bit here till Zombie Grub takes off later. Try and preserve some of that stamina. In the bottom left, he is down one game in the best of 5. It's going to be Dust Gaming's Bunny. The Korean Bunny, not the European Team Liquid Bunny.
It's true. And then at the top right, has the blue Terran. He is ByuN.
You know what would be perhaps a show match I think worth funding, but I don't know whether it would actually get funded?
What is that?
To have Bunny and Bunny play a show match where we fly them out to a location so it is LAN and there's no latency difference. The prize for that show match isn't money, but the winner has to change their name.
Wait, why does the winner have to change their name?
Or excuse me, the winner keeps his name and the loser changes his name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure that'll be funded, especially because Bunny isn't playing that much.
Well, I don't know. Like he's shown up for the odd Corsair Cup here and there and just kind of like kicked a bunch of butt. So I don't know.
It's been a while.
Oh, Chardon 1112 just dealt a bunch of damage here to move me laterally. This is little support. Thanks for great content. Well, good job, Chardon. You took off about a fifth of his health.
Nice.
Because I can do math.
I trust you.
Those are going to be the 3 greatest words you'll ever regret saying.
I don't know. I feel like there's worse, but I'm not gonna try and venture forth into that. We do have. I mean, it's Proxima Station, and this is probably one of the reasons that Bunny chose it. He is, of course, like any good Terran, going to try and do Doom drops, but I was thinking more that he can actually get to the the macro game, and that's the type of game he wants to play. Because last game he tried the aggressive thing on Belshir, and it just didn't work straight up. So, Proxima almost always guaranteed to have 2 command center after barracks.
Oh, we just got another sub, but we missed one before. Sorry for this. Dog 1 is open. Red 5 standing by. Dog 1 is open. Base trade is awesome. That's the truth. Still have 7 months till I get my part 2. Well, I hope you stick around for the 7 months, and hopefully we can keep creating good content for 7 months. Shimali is for 14. Just boops us. Did we just get hacked?
We got hack sword.
Sombra.
So this Reaper is already doing more damage than it should. 3, maybe 4. I feel like ByuN could get 4. Oh, he does get 4. No, there's no way he's getting 5.
No way.
No, nope, nope. Can't do it. Nope. Stop it, ByuN. Okay.
So that is the impressiveness that is the difference between the two. So there's a lot of question of like what is good Reaper control, and I think a lot of emphasis on that goes down to the TvZ, right? When you see the cheesy stuff, that for me was beautiful watching that happen, because Bunny and ByuN, similar moves, similar timings on the Reaper, similar tactics, but the difference is ByuN handled his way differently, allowing him to even get into the base in the first place and undetected. And the fact that he gets any SCV kills from that point forward is just impressive.
Yeah. It's amazing he got a Reaper into the main base on Proxima in general. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is it really is.
There's literally only one way into the base.
Yeah. It really seems like...
Ooh,
I mean,
this is a disgustingly good catch.
I'm not sure what Buddy was trying to do anyways. Like, I get the idea of trying to fake a drop, and sometimes that's really cool, but I think this early on in the game, it's not that cool. Like, it's like later on it's cooler. Anyways, ByuN has a real drop full of Marines going in the main base. Now, Bunny should have enough here. He has almost as many Marines.
You know, though, his medevac was injured a bit. Okay, if ByuN had actually got there Whoa! If ByuN had actually got there undetected, he may have actually been able to focus the medevac down. Widow Mine goes off on the Cyclone, and it's forced away, but a hidden base. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I don't see this too much. Now, on one hand, it's going to be a lot easier to defend against these mid-game Doom drops that I was trying to explain earlier. You know, you only have 2 bases to worry about until they find your 3rd base. And I don't think that's really ever going to happen. You know, Cactus Valley sometimes had it, and it's such an old map too that maybe some people are suspicious. But this is, I think, the first secret hidden base we've seen on Proxima in a TvT, to be even more specific, but I think in general. So the chances of actually shift queuing that far on Proxima is pretty low. That is probably what's going to scout it, though. As Bunny could even, around like the appropriate time, get like a 4th base that looks like a 3rd, and then just be like, oh, I can't get my 3rd, what am I going to do? I'm contained. Just kidding, and sell like a huge army.
Sorry.
That's rude.
Me and Rapid are doing the most vanilla, lamest roasting of one another we possibly could be right now in chat.
Vanilla roasts. Good coffee.
You know, I had to block Rapid casting the other day. It was really sad, actually.
I know, he talked about it on Twitter or on stream.
I know, but he's here to hear it this time.
Just in case you didn't know. Well. The drop needs to be held up a little bit because that Widow Mine did go off, and it was, you know, pretty good, but that's really of consequence in the overall scheme of things. Once again, ByuN has gone for faster combat shields, and ByuN also did go again for, like, barracks before 3rd command center. It looks like Bunny also did that, but we know that he didn't. The difference is that, like, I feel like in some matchups, you won't really feel too pressured to attack or even harass unless you see that your opponent's gone for a 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever, right? But in TvT, I feel like it's constant. The person who's on the map more will get so much better results in TvT that it's never going to be a case of like ByuN's like, oh, where's that 3rd CC so I can attack in here? Like, as soon as he's ready to go, I think he's going to try and attack. And regardless of what it seems like, the reality is Bunny will be lower in army supply and not have combat shields. So, like, I don't know, man. We're always on the fence about hidden expansions.
Well, medevac's going to be boosting over, and this is quite the big drop queued up. 4 tanks and 16 Marines, not to mention this little backdrop that's one shot from dead.
Break down the rocks, make sure it survives. Or get the Vikings. I mean, sure, why not?
Cost him the medevac though.
It's almost perfectly timed out with the drop, but unfortunately, there's still so many Vikings over there. And Bunny, as I said, like it's going to be easier to defend only 2 locations opposed to the usual 3rd he would have to right now. And especially if you're going to get 6 Vikings, I guess you are going to be pretty well defended. Oh, he gets it with 2 tanks. Not bad from Bunny. Even takes an army supply lead now. And while ByuN has his 3rd base on the way, Bunny has his 4th on the way. And ByuN might have just missed his opportunity.
Yeah, and just addressing chat really quick, guys. We don't do reruns on BaseTradeTV very, very often, if at all. And when we do, we have a giant bar up here in the middle. So if this area, green area I'm selected has a bar in front of it on the overlay, then this is a rerun. If it doesn't, then this is live. And I'm just a little bit disappointed that anyone in chat fell for that one guy's troll.
Well, someone has to make him feel good about himself.
Now it's going to be really a dick move if I do rebroadcast this, though, and later people can be like, well, what the fuck?
Exactly. Bunny has deemed it time to start his own pressure, as he has been the one defensive for 9 minutes. We got what looks to be a very similar job to what ByuN tried to do, going to the right side for Bunny. I think the difference is ByuN doesn't have 6 Vikings for them already in position to help defend against it.
Yeah, and you know, Bunny's got a lot of Marines. A lot of this paying off, just so much from this 3rd base getting away for so long. I mean, for ByuN, this looks like a 3rd, but really it's a 4th, and being down in a base normally isn't so bad, but as they try and get to their max out, just Bunny's been able to get away with pumping so many more Marines out. Makes perfect sense that he's up like 20 over ByuN.
Yeah, well, I mean, ByuN also lost those 2 tanks. It's like, that's also pretty brutal. Not really a base trade, I don't think. 4 tanks is pretty strong in that choke. And yeah. Bunny's just going to be able to drop into that 3rd base. Now, ByuN has a decent number of reinforcements already, and his Vikings are going to help take out the medevac, so no healing. But if they're kind of filtering in, the tank gets sniped, the Vikings will go down after this.
A lot of SCVs already dead.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? 20 SCVs already dead. So pretty worth, and again, Bunny did not take any damage in return. I mean, if he had taken, again, if this is like a situation where he had a 4th where it's supposed to be, this 4th is under a lot of pressure. But that base, I would call that a successful hidden base by now. Like, yeah. Really successful.
I mean, we've seen our fair share of them over time, and they've almost never, ever paid off. I think there's that one game, I hate to reference him, but Avilo against QXT was like the only time we ever saw like a hidden base really pay off. But this game's not going too badly.
That was on Cactus Valley.
That was on Cactus Valley. You remember the game? Well done. But this is actually paid off. Like he's actually, I'm wondering if he'll mine this out before the game's over. Will ByuN even know about the base before the game's over? Just think like, wow, Bunny's a really good player. He matched me blow for blow and managed to beat me at every turn. And really, it's like, no, he's just had this huge secret advantage. And it's so hard to scout for that. I think like when it's not a mirror matchup, it's a lot more obvious. You're like, oh, you shouldn't be able to afford that hive. You shouldn't be able to afford 17 like blank. Like it's so hard though, because in TvT it all looks similar, or it's in medevacs. Like it's not clearly outlined that they've got so much more than you. Until it's too late.
Plus, that time that ByuN was going to punish Bunny for taking a 3rd base was that Doom drop that was easily deflected. You know, had that actually gone in, there would have been 20 army supply ahead.
This is cool.
Difficult maneuver.
If he had actually stayed with the tanks, holding his position would have been huge. He does have the upgrade leads after all pretty nicely. Just now finishing up on his side, but had he been able to lay siege to the factory and the barracks, he really could have started eating into Bunny's production. Yeah. Looks like other side of the map. Drop was deflected. ByuN's got to consider taking a 4th soon too.
Well, yeah, and he would know that if he saw a 4th, but as there's no 4th, he really might just be thinking, like, I can push it off, like, I can get maxed out first, which he's now going to have trouble doing as his supply blocks, but you get the idea.
I just meant because his main's mined out.
He might take the 4th as his main command center.
Yeah.
His attack's going to get crushed here.
Just too much? As he runs away, he might finally find the base. No.
It's so uncommon. Like Prague was such a big map. This really is on like an edge, so the shift clicks usually don't go over there.
I love Bunny resisted taking this other gas for so long as well, just because he thought like he wouldn't be able to use it, right? Like, oh, this will surely get found. This will surely get sniped. But nah, feeling confident now. Later takes the gas on it even. Now
ByuN.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, ByuN has to choose now if he's gonna take a 4th base or just move that orbital command over. I guess the minerals for 4th base almost, but he's out of mining in the main.
Well, for me, another part of this too is like ByuN may have taken a really terrible fight, but his army supply is still holding up. Upgrades are slightly in his favor, and that +3 should finish first.
I mean, he is falling behind in that bank though, which is always going to be the case if you both manage to get maxed out, but 1%'s better economy.
You know, if anyone out there has ever suspected ByuN of maybe being like a hacker, and that's how he's so good at the game, well, here's definitive proof that he's not, because anyone would have seen that base if they had hacks.
Oh no, can't see just tanks. This is bad.
This is really bad.
Concave opportunity for Bunny.
Well,
he wasn't too concave, I
he
suppose,
forced
and
Bunny
he did
to
have a
pick
lot
up.
of tanks. A lot of his army were those tanks that were still behind.
It's still not great though, because there's still this looming threat of drops on the other side of the map. But ByuN, I think he's realizing he can't afford to worry about it. Just continues to push forward. Forward always.
Bunny splits up his tanks, which is usually pretty dangerous. I don't think Bunny's realized it, so yeah, all good. ByuN does take a 4th base, by the way, like not just his main orbital. So his main could probably just float over to the 4th, or the gold rather. And since he's the one still applying a lot more of the pressure, Bunny's just doing like harassment drops. He might be able to get away with it.
So I like the fact that he's trying to take a new base instead of moving the other one over. A lot of the problems that he's been faced with are these little harassment drops. And I think a planetary fortress... Ooh, nice. A planetary fortress is going to serve him a lot better than an orbital would. And yeah, he's actually going to make that planetary.
Yeah. Well, with the planetary at the 4th, and again, maybe that orbital at the gold, ByuN would be taking back the economic game. It only took him 15 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to point out too, by the way, if ByuN wins this game, it just really goes to show how good he is at this matchup.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to show how good ByuN is. It also goes to show really, like... I mean, sometimes being defensive in this matchup is perfectly fine. It works out. And Bunny could have done even more damage with, like, only 2 drops and 4 bases. That'd be fantastic. But I think it also just shows, like, how much being aggressive and always on the map is contributing to TvT. As I say that, Bunny goes out on the map and finds a very good engagement. Probably got to back off now.
Well, it was a little bit awkward there. ByuN had a lot of his marines choked into his tanks like that, and I don't think that was intentional at all.
Bunny constantly aware of this little pesky drop in his back door as well. Oh, that was awkward time.
This does a lot of damage, though. A lot of tanks just went down for Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah, even like the one. Okay.
Forget the macro of the game for just a moment. In this one engagement, ByuN got so much done with so little. That was really impressive.
That was also super awkward by Bunny too. Like he picks up some of his army and all of his army. Like
I think he was hoping to bluff ByuN into staying there.
Yeah.
And he would doom drop towards the main, right?
Very questionable. It's a risk, and that risk this time did not pan out. Upgrades are about to finish for Bunny, so he will have a slight upgrade lead, and you know that is going to be helpful because he's now down 30 army supply. But this drop finally comes into play. His attack finally comes into play. Denies mining. Bunny doesn't have another base, but it looks like he's going to try and take another kind of secret base, to be honest. Floating his command center over to the right side. ByuN never took his gold base like I thought he would. He just hasn't taken a 5th base at all, but I still think that's something he will do. And, you know, it doesn't matter at this point, I think. He's up 40 army supply.
Yeah. He's even holding his own. This drop should have been so much more easily cleaned up, but it takes so much out of Bunny to do so.
Jeez. Anytime Bunny seems to be getting an edge, ByuN's just like pushes him right back.
I know you don't like Super Troopers, but there's like that moment at the beginning where he's got the sunglasses on. He's like, Mother of God. And that's all I can do. Like that reaction image right now. Like ByuN playing this game out the way he has. Still, to this point, not knowing that he was behind by so much. That's what makes this so crazy to me. If ByuN knew he was behind and still playing like this, you're like, okay, well, there's that determination because he knows he's behind. ByuN has been unknowingly playing with a handicap, you could almost say, for the first like 10 minutes of this game. And still manages to find a way to win? That's what's got me
Yeah.
going, mother of God.
Oh, I think this is the winning move. I was gonna say he hasn't won quite yet because the economy is still not bad, but Bunny's gonna lose the orbital, lose the SCVs. They'll be down an army supply. The zoom drop, I don't think is gonna work enough.
It's one last ditch effort though. This command center is lifted because he's mined things out. This is hilarious. These SCVs coming from the top left. ByuN doesn't even see them, so he's still with those Marines just now. Has no clue that there was ever a base. It's Bunny. It's the greatest magic trick ever pulled. Like, pull a Bunny out of your hat. He pulled a fucking hidden base out of his hat. This is ridiculous.
This is such a useless drop too. Like only tanks are they're not gonna be helpful, and he keeps on losing medevacs. I got a 4 tanks.
GG.
Tap out.
ByuN never. He never knew about that base. I gotta message him right now and ask. Like, I can't.
Could you tell?
I need to know. That's insane.
I'm eagerly waiting for maybe a response.
I don't know if he'll reply. We'll find out in a moment. I'm gonna go to commercial break while we wait. There's the cliffhanger, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, we're back and loading into game. And ByuN says he had no idea about that base. He also said to note he didn't care. Which, I mean, take for that what you will. I think on one hand it's really easy to interpret as like maybe ByuN, but I look at that as just like, look, I know how to play this so well. I know you could have 5 hidden bases, like whatever. I'm ByuN. But no, really, truly, if that is the case, and he was just thinking, oh, I'm playing even footing, but I must be making mistakes because I'm behind, and like, why does he have so many more units to me? Like, there's got to be a lot of questions that were going through his head, but at the end of the day, if you guys have watched ByuN stream, this guy pulls off some impossible stuff on the regular, so I'm not that surprised that he won that game.
I'm not either. Like, I think that it gave Bunny a boost. We saw it in the supply. It was up like 20 army supply, and he had faster upgrades, I guess, throughout the game as well, but it didn't matter. So, well, I don't know what to do against ByuN.
I like to look at him right now in this best of 5. Like, he's Bane, and he's just taking Batman, Bunny, and like broke his back over his knee type thing.
Well, in that analogy, then Bunny's gonna come back and beat him senseless, right?
Or maybe he'll just die. I don't know. In the bottom right, though, he's up 2-0 in this best of 5. Putting his opponent on his last life. It is ByuN.
See, maybe he brings it back to 2-2, but then loses. But then whoever ByuN faces in the finals is like the chick in the movie. Top left, as the blue Terran, he is Bunny.
So his parents are dead.
What?
If we're going full Batman on this one.
Well, really, we only started. I mean, we started the 3rd movie. We don't have to bring up the past.
But the past is part of who he is. I just think one of the... What? Oh, it's so silly. Reaper's gonna be out. He should be able to save the SCV, but if ByuN kills his SCV, I'm done.
It's already annoying enough that they exchange SCVs.
Yeah.
I guess ByuN probably more than well aware that, first of all, Abyssal Reef is still kind of popular for proxy Reapers, or just Reapers in general, but also that you're on your last life, you haven't won with a hidden base, you didn't win in the normal game, maybe it's time to cheese. But whether it's for scouting or just to add on to the Reapers, which you've also been seeing a lot of, it's good. It's good knowledge. He now takes the winning fight in the Reaper War, too.
Well, the SCV had to be pulled off the command center, so yeah, certainly winning to say the least, but this is a difference of builds this time, so we're not going to see similar builds in like one macro, one hidden base, or anything like that. ByuN is actually looking to get quite aggressive with this, and frankly, 2 Reapers and a Hellion, that can kill a player.
Oh no. Yeah, especially if their Reaper dies.
Whoa! What?
Oh, he's gonna catch him. No, wait. There's another.
Oh, he's going for the command center. That's why. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a funny move, actually. I want to actually go really into that, because for ByuN, had he killed the Reaper, guarantees that he's in such a good spot to win the game with the push. But you know what? Never mind. I forget what I was going to analyze. He kills it anyways. I love the sort of the attention span or the retention span, I guess you would even call it, to say, you know what, that command center is still not going to be done by now. If I move, I might be able to stop it. And had he gone like a fraction of a second sooner, he would have actually killed the SCV. This wouldn't have finished, and this would have been super annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, this could have been so much more devastating for certain.
I'm going to try and exchange blows as much as he can without losing a unit, which is very difficult to do, but ByuN is ByuN. So, does a little damage to the Cyclone, but you're not really going to be able to beat that. Then it's his own Cyclone on the way, and once again goes into Banshees. And this Banshee should get enough kills to make up for the differences in their command centers. If not the Banshee, then I guess maybe these Reapers that don't have any opposition in the main base. Bunny was entirely on the front line.
That's because of this engineering bait timing. That's going to be annoying.
Yeah, he doesn't really need it because a Raven's on the way, but he did mean to have it finish and, you know, build a missile turret.
ByuN leaving a couple of these SCVs at one-shot range. Can't blame him, though. So 4 workers killed, it's not bad.
It'll be perfect for his Banshee follow-up. Like, it definitely, like, spread out the SCV damage.
Yeah,
I lose my voice here.
Just one-shot most of them. Well, some of them, not most of them.
Some of them, yeah. But 5 SCVs of the Reapers, like, that was already the damage that I thought the Banshee was going to do that made up for the like, command center. But now the Banshee's going to do even more. So this is an effective one-base opener, for sure. Again, assuming the Banshee does anything at all. Anything at all. Here you go. Get a couple Marines. And yeah, that puts ByuN up 2 workers. And still at a very even army supply. Bunny goes for a 3rd CC. He's probably going to get a faster one if I had to guess. ByuN might just play once again to like a more aggressive style, staying on 2 bases for longer. It's worked for him.
This is so sick.
So why not?
So ByuN kind of baits the Banshee to the far side of the map.
He's really going to bait it.
And I don't know whether he saves it or not, but this does bring the Cyclones here to possibly kill his assailants.
High ground.
Oh, that startled the crap out of me, actually.
That was pretty well timed, though.
That was, too, yeah. High ground once again tonight. Although, it's weird to consider, this is actually all low ground, really.
Oh, man. Whoa, man.
Mega Dog. My bad, starting all the pre-recorded with me asking, is it a rerun? I just woke up for woke. I was like, these two just played. I was getting ready for, he woke up for work. I was getting ready for work. My bad. I love you guys.
I thought he was being hip, you know? He was woke.
Well, that's what I thought he was kind of implying for a second there, too. I don't know. Anyways, no hard feelings, man. It's just, it's always one person comes in, and if any other person like concurs with them, then suddenly chat starts questioning their sanity, and you're like, wait, I thought this was live. Is this not live? This is why we really try and emphasize and drive people to like check our Twitter or go to a BaseTradeTV website, so you guys know like what the schedule is when things actually are live, because we want to make sure that you know the content's live. Like, the last thing I want to be doing is be disingenuous about that.
Oh lordy, that Viking was gonna die.
Yes, almost. Still, getting away with 2 SCV kills wasn't bad considering his energy. He's got enough for another auto turret. Oh, looks like, speaking of auto turrets, a little bit of problem here in ByuN's main. He gets quite a few kills, actually. 5 is not too shabby, and there's 1 more auto turret to go.
Yeah, not too shabby. Bunny has now taken a bit of the SCV lead, and he does still, again, have that faster 3rd command center.
You know,
that's going to be tricky to hold.
You got 4 Marine kills with that, too. I didn't realize. So that's really not bad.
ByuN does not have a significant army advantage, despite having the lack of a 3rd CC. But he does have the pressure and the control of the game, and a bit of an army supply lead, as well as 2 Ravens, which are always very scary. So Bunny had his tanks in the main, kind of depending on him dropping once or twice. And it's a good thing that he moved them. Otherwise, if the Ravens had seen that, they might have, like, this army might have just run up the ramp and been unstoppable. With the command center, it'd be bad news for Bunny. But now ByuN does have to think about something else to do. And without medevac, there's no worry about dropping. That's like really a relief, I think, for Bunny. And he just needs to wait like a tiny little bit longer. Then he'll have Sim, and then he might be able to push this back and take his 3rd command center. ByuN, I mean, all ByuN has to do is literally just stay here, buy enough time that his 3rd command center is equally timed, and that would be fine, I think, even if he's down 10 workers. But ideally, right, he does something with this. Does some damage. And now medevacs are floating on over.
Well, scans all over the place. Not too much to see. Both players know exactly what's going on here. I am so concerned though. Any sort of engagement path, those auto turrets gonna wreck. Although these Vikings coming forward like this is really scary because forget the auto turrets, Marines might just stim underneath them.
This Viking control, I mean, tank Viking. That's the way that you can hold on to a game where you're a little behind, or just even take really good positioning later on when you are able to push forward. But those Vikings are the key part of Viking tanks, so gotta be careful. Still not cleaning up this bit of mine.
He knows it's there. He just lost the
I
Viking
know, right?
to it. Like
maybe he didn't realize. Maybe he looked somewhere else.
Bunny.
He said if he lacks a scan, that's where the 3rd CC would be fine.
What do I just went off by the way on all those Marines? No medevacs because of all the Viking production. So ByuN might recognize this and try and go in. I mean, this is such a sick move to capitalize on, right? He's got combat shield timing on his side, and a lot of these Marines are seriously within like 1-shot range. Oh, I see a corpse go flying up the Raven. We didn't actually see the Raven die.
Bunny has kind of weathered the lower supply storm, though, so he should be fine defensively. He also has combat shields, so there's no timing for that like there were in the past 2 games. And no, okay, even armor. But yeah, the point is, Bunny I think has enough now with the center tower to defend, and ByuN is just going to be looking for trades. Now that's fine because ByuN is taking a lot of good trades last game, even though Bunny got 3 bases, even 4 bases, and center towers. ByuN just like kept pecking at him and taking better engagements, but I'm not sure this is gonna be one of those. Well, the tanks of Bunny actually aren't all here, so it's okay. Ends up being okay.
Still an awkward position to try and take a fight though. Now he's at a high ground disadvantage too.
Yeah. Obviously, it would have been a lot better if Bunny's tanks all been in the attacking position, not a little out of range. But yeah, it still ended up being very good. ByuN takes a now significant army loss, down by 30.
Well, all things considered, this kind of reminds me of that last game a little bit, though. Difference is,
yeah.
I think there's just so much air control out of Bunny that he should be able to capitalize on his advantage.
Yeah, this is what's really concerning about Bunny's composition. You know, it does depend heavily on tanks and Vikings, which in a large area with the concave is like, you know, more Marines would probably deal with it. But Abyssal Reach doesn't really have a lot of large concave areas, and ByuN has really lost control of the game, lost control of the momentum. Bunny's going to get into a decent position and then probably be able to stick there for quite a while. But this lack of Marines is also, like, honestly kind of scary. It's 2 different styles really to play TvT beyond mech and bio, I suppose, or Vikings versus no Vikings. It's also how many tanks versus how many Marines. And ByuN is just straight up out of position, so it doesn't even matter. He just packed it. Like, he's only down 20 army supply, but he's gonna lose that 3rd base.
Well, not going down without a fight. GG Bunny will put a point on the board. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Needed to make that happen.
It's the Bane prophecy coming true. I'm telling you.
I mean, a comeback would be really impressive, and if we're gonna be honest, like Bunny's had such an upswing, maybe there's an actual chance at it. But those first 2 games were just such a one-sided mess. Oh, ByuN picks the next map. If you guys don't know, the other semifinals bracket is ByuN versus Leenock, a best of 5 ZVZ, which means a best of 7 guaranteed TVZ grand finals. Also, looks like during that game, moving laterally healed himself a little bit with bits. I love that that's an option you can do too. Like, I can disable it so like you can't heal yourself, but I like the idea of someone being able to defend themselves too at the same time. Be like, no. 100 damage? No. 100 heals. Like,
I feel like it's pretty intuitive too. Like, I didn't actually know how the bot worked, but I just, I guess that was the way that things worked. It's just like a real boss battle. You gotta defend yourself.
it's like Dark Souls, but with bits.
I wonder how much harder.
Someone can just come out of nowhere and dick you over. That's Dark Souls.
Oh, I thought you were gonna with the boss battles. So I was gonna say, would it be harder or easier in Dark Souls if like your opponent was not an AI?
Depends how good they are, to be honest.
Yeah, right? I guess that's that's like StarCraft, right? Like, AI is super easy or super hard depending on how good you are and how good they are. Well, the map was chosen.
Newkirk, we're just getting everyone in here. It's a lot of casters. I guess Ryung's casting with Crank today. Ryung and Alicia.
I didn't put those together, but sure, yeah.
I don't know. This is going to be an interesting one. Not a lot of opportunities for hidden bases or anything so weird, but I also really doubt Bunny's going to be trying to pull that off again.
Right.
Well, let's hop into it. So we were talking a little bit before stream, and I'm curious if anyone in chat has picked up Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm not exactly super dissuaded by the or turned off rather by all the images and faces and everything. Because for me, like, one of the cool things about Mass Effect is like you get the music, the story, and I've not really cared about the cutscenes and the personal interactions. Like, those are the things I skip through as quick as I can most of the time. So for those who have played it, my curiosity is, how's the gameplay outside of the silly facial animations? Like, is it good? Because I really want to play.
I really was very interested in this whole development, of course, right? I think a lot of people are. But I was always on the side of optimism, that it's not as bad as everyone says. And everyone was pretty harsh about, oh, you know what? There's actually a lot of stuff happening. TLDR, everyone was harsh, but I believe in Mass Effect. And from what I've read, people say if you're a fan of Mass Effect, then you're going to be a fan of Andromeda. Okay, then. Let's do it.
Bottom left, one point on the board. Gonna have to defend really hard. It's Bunny.
In the bottom right, well, not mostly. It is the Blue Terran, ByuN. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, this is something that has not come out yet in this TvT. They've both showcased abilities to go for one base versus two openers. But,
you know what, though?
You know, it's just a question of what you do, and Bunny's going for Barracks Expand.
The Proxima game, just now in Abyssal Reef, in every instance where there's been a Reaper scuffle in regular Reaper matchups, ByuN's actually won those fights.
It might not be. Oh, yeah, that is definitely a good point. Oh, no, he is. Okay. Okay, the command center goes down. It might even get, like, stalled out. It probably should be stalled out. And, yeah, one Reaper at a time is just not going to beat two. That's how math works. And as you said, even if it was one Reaper versus one, like, ByuN has been winning those.
Some folks want to know if the finals are today. We play this through all the way to the finals. So we'll do the semifinals and the grand finals. So there's still a best of 5 and a best of 7 that will be cast after this, before the day is done.
Not that you heard the sneeze, whatever.
What?
I sneezed, then I said bless. Wait, excuse me. I didn't say bless me. Oh, anyways. 2 Reapers come in, and Bunny is going to be real sad that he got a reactor. Real sad.
Yeah, he's got to pull all the SCVs to deal with this. This is not an underreaction at all. This is absolutely necessary.
It's already bad news, man.
I like that ByuN is policing the main. I mean, he could easily pick up this SCV at any time. The command center really wasn't that close to finishing. But yeah, now he just 3v1s the Reaper. Marines coming out, Hellion coming out, like, this isn't going to deal with it. That's game. GG. It was abrupt, it was quick, a little bit sad, but ByuN ultimately, I think, has earned the series victory. 3-1 over Bunny. Will you guys be doing Brood War HD tournaments? I'll say maybe. Unlikely, but maybe. I have no idea what Brood War HD is going to look like. And I'm pretty much in love with StarCraft 2, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Brood War, and it's going to be a lot easier to set up tournaments. Like, just imagine trying to set up tournaments in Warcraft 3 with how hard it was to even set up a 1v1.
What's really frustrating with Brood War, though, because I do want to talk on this topic, as this has been brought up a couple times. I truly, in my gut, do not believe Brood War is that popular. What I really believe is that celebrities from Brood War era are popular. So, for example, you hear about these crazy stream numbers when Flash and Jaedong and stuff are squaring off. But then you look at Brood War around any other time of the day, and it's like both people watching are having a good time. You know what I mean?
It's not that bad.
Okay, it's not that bad. But my point is, there's a lot of people who are on the super hype train for Brood War, and I hope you enjoy your game. And if it does get HD announced, awesome. But for me, I'm not really looking forward to it. I don't think that it's crazy and innovative and new and different. But I also am not going to say that it wouldn't be either. Like, I would be totally down if it turns out to be really fun and awesome to watch to host tournaments with it.
It'll be easier to host. It'll probably be a little more fun to host, and there will be that initial amount of excitement that no one's going to be able to deny. Like, everyone's going to be on board and download it and play it, and then I think it's going to go back to what the foreign Brood War scene looks like right now, which is not that live. So those are my predictions.
Well, thank you by the way to Big Baby 1980.
Big Baby.
That's like what,
well, you're
40?
Like, you're 36 years old.
Wow, you did math really good with that. I was guessing. All
7.
right, we're going to go to commercial break while we get the other semifinals set up, guys. Again, it's going to be a ZVZ. It's our boy ByuN, sponsored by BaseTradeTV, versus some guy who's Leenock. Never heard of him before. Before we go to break, though, another sub coming in. Ackerland, thank you very much. We'll see you guys soon.